Everyone, it's great to meet you. I'm very excited for the session we have today with Rachel from Wethos and myself, Kieran Pascoe from Unit. We're talking about how you can keep more money on your platform with embedded banking and have a great agenda set up for you here. So I'm going to hand it over to Rachel Rennick from Wethos.
Yeah, hey everybody, great to meet you. I'm Rachel Rennick. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Wethos. My company is a platform for freelancers. We make it really easy for them to put complex proposals together and price their projects, bill their clients through invoicing, as well as accept payments and then send peer-to-peer payments to collaborators.
And as I mentioned, Kieran Pascoe, head of platform at Unit. Unit is a banking as a service company that allows leading tech companies to store, spend, and move money. So just a quick overview of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to go through the opportunity we think that payment platforms are missing by not using embedded banking. We're going to walk through the solution of embedded banking. I'm going to hand it over to Rachel to talk through Wethos and her experience. Wethos is an amazing example of what unifying embedded banking and payments can look like. And then we're going to reconvene to talk about how you can get started with embedded banking. Great. So the missed opportunity. Not a lot of companies are thinking about embedded banking. Those that are taking payments are really focused on that core product. Some of them have adopted banking offerings, about 9%. Another 10% are thinking about including banking on their roadmap, but they're really focused on payments. Today, they're taking in payments. Obviously, those funds are on their platform, but very quickly they're moving right off the platform, right? So businesses that are using payments acceptance are sending money to external accounts, and they're actually doing their business, transacting and spend through external bank accounts, and that's money that's leaving your platform and is being capitalized by banks. And we think there's a really compelling opportunity to actually keep that money on your platform and earn revenue streams off of it. So if that money is not moving to an external bank account, it's controlled by you, right? You're able to earn revenues off of funds that are deposited from payments acceptance, whether that's interest or interchange. You're able to earn payments fees for transactions that these small businesses are doing. And you're really keeping more of that value on your platform and offering a very compelling use case to your customers. So just to talk about the solution a little bit, what is embedded banking? When a tech company makes banking products available to their customers, they're offering embedded banking. And you're able to offer a number of different products, from cards to payments to deposit accounts and lending. You're offering embedded banking in one use case. And you can work with providers like Unit who make this easy for you, who work with with bank partners to offer these products and offer them in a seamless manner using APIs. And we've noted some really great use cases here, but there's no better use case than Rachel at Wethos. So don't need to go into these in too much detail. We'd rather walk through that use case with Rachel. With embedded banking, you can offer faster payouts, which are a huge priority for customers, better financing. You have more information on lending opportunities. You can provide more attractive economics and reduce fees for your customers, tailor financial products to them, and actually offer them a single source of truth. They don't need to have a separate banking app, separate payments processing app. It's all in one place. And of course, you can earn additional revenue through banking features, whether it's interchange, interest, lending, platform fees, payment fees. You have access to proprietary data. You can use your data and combine it with transaction information to actually get ahead of a lot of what your customers are doing. And actually, data is a tremendous future revenue opportunity for you. And then finally, you can increase loyalty. And LTV banking products are very sticky. Rachel will go into great detail about this. And that's an exciting opportunity. So some specific examples here. Shopify Balance offers zero fees and faster payouts. Huge priority. They make tremendous amount of revenue from these embedded merchant services. And Square is another great example. Your money at a moment's notice. FDI insured bank accounts for merchants on their platform, and corresponding revenue growth. Happy to hand it over to Rachel to talk through Wethos.
Awesome. Thanks for that upfront. And I will just say, like, on the, in terms of the products that we offer on our platform, so we offer about 3 out of the 4 of those products that was showed on the slide previously. So everything except for lending so far, although we'll get there. It's great to meet everybody. I'm Rachel. As I mentioned earlier, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Wethos. I actually come from advertising. So I'm what used to be an art director. I used to shoot a lot of commercials. I did a lot of social and digital campaigns for big brands like CoverGirl and Hershey's. And a few years ago, I left our big ad agency with my co-founder, Claire, to start our own freelance studio. Our business grew really fast. We did like 1.4 million in revenue in like 18 months. And that is when Claire and I found out how hard it is to scale a service-based business. So we ended up building out our own internal operating system. And this is where our story starts to sound a lot like Shopify's, actually. We essentially realized that the platform we had built for ourselves was much more valuable than just our one individual studio alone. And we ended up releasing that platform, which now has about 80,000 freelance businesses using it. Our goal here with the platform is to help 100 million freelancers break 100K a year. The reason why is because if you look at the market today, 95% of freelancers aren't breaking 6 figures. And yet half the US workforce is projected to be freelance in the next 4 years. That's a huge problem. It's very urgent that we solve it and make freelance a more viable and lucrative career for the millions and millions of independents that are already entering the market. So that's why we're here. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning. In terms of the problem that our product actually solves. So overall, the problem we're trying to solve here is that most freelancers are relying on guesswork or sort of intuition to make decisions about their business. And that's because the data that they have to track is sort of scattered across a bunch of different places. So you have your proposals, you have your time tracking, you have your billing and invoicing, you have your payments and your banking. Everything is sort of separate. And in order to identify what is or is not driving your growth, you have to do really complex financial analyses across all those different data sources to really understand what's going on with your business. And we believe that a platform that is essentially data powered will actually help to solve this problem versus a lot of what exists today, which are sort of static workflows that help freelancers optimize for productivity versus optimizing for profitability, which is really what our software does. So how do we do this? We help freelancers double their income by essentially being their data-powered co-pilot. In our customers' words, they would say a second brain for your business, sort of how they describe it. We help to guide them on successfully pricing their projects, executing, and also billing their projects. The existing products, again, today, because they are designed with very narrow systems in mind in each one of those areas, they just don't take into account how all 3 of those areas actually impact the profitability of the business. And that's where our embedded solution can really make a huge difference. Okay, product. So I'm going to do a little product demo in a second here, but the thing to note about our product is that to date, we've captured over 200,000 unique data points on how work gets done and for how much money. And so our goal with our data and our platform is to actually help users get better at running their business by basically having this sort of embedded learning loop within the platform itself. In order to be able to do that, we need to know and we need to have very specific and contextual data all the way from the proposals through to the money. Not just, did I send this invoice, but actually, did the money move? Was it cleared? And what is the available balance in that account? So people can really, on a real-time basis, understand their cash flow and their cash position as they're running their business. All right, I'm going to do a little demo here. I can steal the screen. Okay, cool. Pray for me, everybody. I'm just kidding. All right, so this is Wethos. I'm logged in as a studio under my own brand here. And as you can see, the second that I log into the platform, I am logging into what is effectively my business. So right away, I land on this dashboard that is showing me how many projects I've won so far in the last 12 months, and then how many invoices have actually been paid so far. So what this does that a lot of other products can't do is it shows me what is incoming to me, future earnings, which would be this. And then it also shows me what has already happened, which is payments that have already been made, which is this green section here. And then from here, of course, we direct users and we have a lot of features across proposals. We have a library of data. We have a whole network on the platform that you can use to pull in teammates for projects. But today we're going to focus specifically on our payments and invoicing stack because that's really where the embedded finance comes in. So as a user, the first thing that I can do when it comes to the financial side is invoicing. So when I create an invoice on the platform, I can track the status of that invoice all the way through to whether or not the payment has actually cleared. Without the embedded banking piece, we would not be able to give users this information. And I'm going to show you beyond just knowing like, where is my money and can I get it faster, which is the two things our customers care a lot about. I'm going to show you how this actually helps to reconcile the business in real time. With an invoice, when you send it to your client, you can get an invoice paid via card or bank transfer, which brings me to my payments account. So when a user sets up payments on our platform, they fill out one application that gets submitted. Really easy, takes literally less than 5 minutes. And most of the time, they're instantly approved or denied to open a bank account and accept payments. On our platform, you can accept card or bank transfers all into one account. And then again, depending on, or regardless really of the types of payments that are being made, I can track the status of those payments and whether or not they have cleared. Now, if I tab over to my transactions, this is going to give me my real-time balance. So this is real money in my bank account. This itself is my bank account. It has an account and routing number. And the beauty of this is that by the nature of using the invoicing workflow, I'm actually reconciling my transactions in real time as I'm just running my business on the platform. So as a freelancer today, this is an extremely painful process, specifically when it comes to doing your taxes. If I'm processing payments with 3 different types of processors, and then I keep my banking in a completely other place, that means that I have to go back and I have to essentially export all of those transactions every quarter to reconcile which amounts were associated with which projects, to understand and to work with my accountant or my software to be able to actually file the taxes accurately. That process today is a huge headache. And this solution is super simple, really easy to use, and it completely solves the pain of having to reconcile after the fact. I can link an additional outside bank account to this if I want. I can export transaction statements like a real account. And then potentially most importantly, if I want to access my money right away, which I can as soon as that payment clears, I can then use my debit card to do so. And so as soon as the money clears from that invoice, it's dropped directly into one account here. Okay, cool, I've got a balance here. And now I've got a virtual card and I also have a physical card. I might have it around here somewhere, where I can actually use that money and I can spend it in the real world, or I can go to an ATM, etc. So this has been a huge, huge, huge value to our users. And really the feedback that we've gotten to date has just been that the solution itself is a much more nuanced solution that they feel understood by the platform and how they run their business. And it's really simple, easy to use and learn, and takes pretty much as much time for them to set up as it would to set up a PayPal account. Just as easy. All right. So
Rachel,
I think. Oh, go ahead.
Do you mind just talking a little bit about that in a bit more detail about the customer experience there? Like, what have you heard from your customers about this offering that sort of synthesizes 3 different things, right? As I understand it, there's the project management and software that you have for freelancers. There's the payment acceptance and there's the banking. Do they see that? Do they see how that all operates, or is it how does it look to them?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think, to be honest, one of the early challenges was messaging and getting people to sort of understand exactly what's sort of happening and is it a bank account, a payments account, et cetera. And really at the end of the day, what we've learned through iterating on the user experience is that people see the platform as an end-to-end place to run their business. They use the language a lot like an all-in-one type of solution. I think in the world today, there are a lot of other sort of products that claim to be quote unquote all in one. But again, without that actual embedded banking piece, you have to use many other tools to actually do your finances in addition to the potential all-in-one platform you might be using today, unlike on our platform. So even if I am using software over here, a lot of people are still having to keep their bank account in a completely separate place from where they actually run their business. And so those two things are just totally disconnected, essentially. And that creates a really tough and disjointed experience, going back to the first problem, which is, how do I know what is or is not driving my growth if I can't manage my cash flow in my business in the same place? So that's the type of thing that we hear a lot. And then there's a lot of like ease of use. And again, going back to, I think, the vertical solution and how people feel like this platform was designed and built for me and how I run my business. It's not a QuickBooks. It's not a one size fits all solution. It's specific to a service-based business. And we hear that come through from the customers a ton. Like, I just feel like you guys get me. I feel understood. Nobody's saying that about their bank right now, you know? I think that honestly also comes through in these numbers. So I've talked a lot about like the value to the customer, but I want to talk a little bit about the value to us, because of course we're a business. We got to run a business. We got to grow. One of the best parts about using Unit in the early days is that, as mentioned at the top of the presentation, at the time in like early 2021, basically, we were staring down a barrel of becoming a payback, which can really take like 2 years. And the problem with that is that it's a high risk road to take when you haven't like proven the concept itself or proven product market fit. So one of the best parts about using Unit in the early days was that we were able to get up and running really quickly. And then we were able to prove an early like proof of concept. People want this product, people can use it. And then we were able to iterate on that quickly, rather than investing a ton of time and energy and like high risk into a full payback, full payment processing, just to find out, oh, maybe this doesn't work. Because like any founder out there knows, if you think it's going to take 3 months, it'll take 6, and half the things that you think will work probably will not. So I think like for us, in terms of just like assessing risk across the business, Unit was a huge factor in helping us de-risk some of the products that we wanted to launch and experiment with, and it's proven out. So to date, our LTV for customers that are transacting on the platform is 7 times higher than those who are just using a subscription. That is a massive jump in lifetime value. And the best part about it is that we are naturally expanding lifetime value without having to ask our customers to reach into their pockets and pay for more software. That's one of the biggest issues, particularly if you are marketing or acquiring SMBs as your end user. You don't want to have to ask them to reach in their pocket and pay for more software in order to increase your lifetime value. So the embedded finance piece, again, regardless of whether they're paying a subscription or not, we are earning money on that. We're earning a lot of money on that, which really, really helps, and also just increases the amount of activity and engagement that we get across all of our features. The second thing that I wanted to call out here is, look, like, I'm going to be, again, honest as a founder. Like we all know, nothing works right out of the gate immediately. And really for us, I think there were 2 main challenges when we first launched, which didn't really have much to do with Unit and had more to do with just our end customer. One was messaging, as I mentioned, and the other one was like that user experience. How do you onboard a user to this? How do you activate a user? Since we're not marketing ourselves as a better bank for freelancers, it didn't feel natural to have a user sign up and then immediately try to drive to a transaction. So with our users, usually their first transaction is getting their first invoice paid. Over the last year, we have shrunk that time to activate from 5 months to 90 days by just really quickly and rapidly iterating on that onboarding experience and first-time user experience, and making sure that users are like engaging with the features end to end. And again, without having de-risked the banking and payments piece, we wouldn't be able to focus our time and resources on iterating. And I should mention, my team, I have 12 full-time employees and I have 80,000 users. So the amount of volume that we're supporting right now is massive with a very small team. And again, we're able to do that because Unit provides just a lightweight solution, and really helps a lot on the compliance side, on the customer service side. They've just provided a ton of support to us so that, again, we didn't have to go down a really risky path of staffing up a whole team and doing a bunch of things around, compliance, and having to just spend a lot of time and energy and money and resources there before proving out, the LTV. Lastly, and maybe most importantly, is the retention. We have a 91% retention rate at the 12-month mark. What that means is that 12 months after a user does their first transaction, they are still transacting. 91% of them are still transacting. That is extremely high retention. And again, it just goes to show that once they're embedded in the flow end to end, the embedded banking and payments pieces really are important as a means to that end. It's the means to our users' end, meaning they want to earn more money, they want to stabilize their business. We're able to now provide the technology for them to be able to do that, which frankly just like wasn't even available as of a few years ago. We would not have been able to do this or give them this type of information. So the more you use it, the more valuable it gets, the better it gets, the smarter it gets for you. And as those data network effects really start to kick in, you can start to imagine the myriad of different ways that we can also monetize in additional ways, from data to additional financial services like invoice factoring. There are more possibilities around this than I even knew until I actually got into it. And we didn't even know at the time like how many problems we could actually solve with the solution until we sat down to really take it seriously and to really understand like how can this be different from just integrating with Stripe, which you don't have any margin on,
Definitely. We'd love to talk about how you can get started, how you can do what Wethos has done in a quick and really effective way. So before 2020, it took to build banking products 18 months and more than $2 million. Now it's a lot faster with Unit. We can launch banking products in about 3 months and about 100K. I should note that we've been able to really expedite the process for launching bank products, and we have amazing capabilities to implement with payment acceptance providers like Stripe and like others. We're not a PayFac ourselves, but we can really seamlessly marry these two financial products. We're also building technical capabilities to make the engineering lift quicker. So as Rachel mentioned, we're able to provide really great support on compliance and managing bank relationships. We also have great technology, but actually building UIs is something that we're focusing on right now. So with our white label UIs, tech companies can get to market faster. They don't have to use as many engineering resources, which is amazing given what Rachel just said about 12 full-time staff, and they can create better experiences out of the box.
Yeah, and I will just say on this, that is a huge benefit for us too with the white labeling, because it definitely increases our velocity in terms of shipping. It reduces the amount of requirements we have to think about ourselves, which really helps with like complexity and just timing. And it does create a much more consistent user experience. So it's like users can do one application and then we can use that and we can send it in different places and use the data to open up new features and other things like that. So I would say just to reiterate, of that team of 12, 7 of those people are engineers. We don't have a ton of resources. And so this is a massive benefit. And it took us the same amount of time to integrate Stripe as it did to set up Unit, essentially. So if you have done that, or if you're using any of those types of services, I would just reiterate that don't be intimidated by the idea of banking. It can be that easy and it can really add a lot of value. So we've been able to do it we've been able to do a lot with a little. And I think too many people maybe write off products like this just because they get worried about, how it sounds banking, but it's not nearly as heavy as it may sound or feel.
And we'd love to talk to you guys about this. So feel free to reach out to myself or Rachel. Does the Wethos use case resonate with you? What are you looking for in embedded banking? We're happy to have these conversations. Excited to talk. Rachel, I did have a quick question for you. What does your embedded finance roadmap look like over the next few months, few years?
Yeah, so it's really exciting because we've gone with the banking pieces from day one. We have just so much additional data, not just on transactions that have already happened, but on our users' future earnings. So we know what their project pipelines look like. We know what their win rates are. We know what their average contract sizes are. There's a lot that we can do with that. And there's a lot that we can do to basically give people more access to financial services that would have previously been ignored or denied. So with that additional data, it tells a fuller story for our end customer. And what we want to do is roll out additional financial services, potentially around invoice factoring. Eventually, we'd love to even get into some larger, like, fundraising or funding for users. A lot of like what the e-commerce space has access to right now. My people don't have that, but I'm gonna go get it. And so on our roadmap, like literally our North Star is like, what are more things that we can do to help our users earn more money? And at the top of that list is access your payments faster. Clients have really long procurement periods. Anheuser-Busch owed me 20 grand for like 3 months one time. And I was like, I got to pay my rent. What's going on? So I think, really investing into that, helping people access their own money faster. And then also, of course, the feedback loops in the data. The data can be monetized in so many ways that it's hard to just even decide on like where to start. But we have a huge roadmap when it comes to AI and integrating with AI, and when it comes to also using data to not just offer additional financial services for underwriting, but also, to be able to give people the opportunity to potentially white label some of our tools as well. So what it has done, I think, from a roadmap standpoint is our whole goal here is to build this like data network, expand the platform around that data network, APIs and apps and other tools that are built on top. And then of course, like the big picture is be the bank. And that includes like payments, banking, and then of course, additional financial services. And at that point, we've essentially sort of captured this economy on our platform that we can now sort of power through our banking and through our financial services in a way that truly has not been done before. So it's super exciting for us, and I think it's super exciting for the bank too.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we're looking to build additional products to serve you, Rachel. So you and other companies like yourself. So moving into lending more specifically, building out white label capabilities to make it easier to launch banking services, and make banking less scary, and then launch it a bit quicker. So cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been a really great session, and looking forward to your questions in the chat. Just want to make sure that you're aware. Coming up next is Prashant Gandhi, Chief Business Officer at Melio. He's going to share how to build a small business payments hub, which is very relevant to what we're talking about. So you don't want to miss that. Please stay tuned and enjoy the next session. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Awesome. Thank you. See y'all later.